Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. So we're going to talk some boxing real quick. Haven't had any boxing content in a while. Been football heavy, with my teams and just the things that interest me on this channel that I follow. But I never have waned from following the boxing game, the fight game, and want to come back and reestablish what we had going on this channel as well in terms of our boxing content. So, obviously we have Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder for the WBC Heavyweight Championship tomorrow night. It's going to be a busy day for me because I'm going to be in Arlington tomorrow morning for the Longhorns game and then coming back to Austin so I can get to see the fight at night, Wilder and Fury in LA. So it's going to be crazy day for me, but exciting. Two things I love, football and boxing, and really excited to talk about this fight with you guys. And before I do that, one of the things that's just motivated me to get back into my boxing grind really is a conversation I had with my dad on Thanksgiving. My father lives in New York, and with me being in Texas, I don't see him very often, but we talk on the phone and try to remain close. He's the reason why, I've loved, the sweet science, the sport of boxing. He was an amateur boxer when he came to this country in the early 1980s, and really helped me develop an appreciation of the sport. A lot of VHS tapes, Hagler, Hearns, all the great middleweights, Robert, John the Beast Mugabe versus Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran. My father showed me so many different styles. Alexis Arguello versus Aaron Pryor, the whole nine. And we, in my household, we always used to order pay-per-view fights. Whether it was Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, whoever. And I really learned so much from him in the sport. But with all the controversy and the corruption and the things that went down, he had really gone away from watching boxing, and I've never shied away from it. And it was one of the things that my dad and I shared so closely in terms of our relationship and conversations. We could talk hours and hours of debate, great fights. He showed me how to score bouts, the whole nine. And recently, he's told me he's gotten back into boxing. And I've told him about fighters, and I told him, I said, hey, the fight game's coming back. It's moving more to an ESPN, more to a streaming product. And even though this fight coming up is a pay-per-view, he called me on Thanksgiving and wanted to talk boxing and wanted to talk about some fighters he saw and some people he was excited about, Crawford and some of these other guys. And it just made me proud and wanted, reignited some of that passion I had to talk boxing. So I wanted to share that personal anecdote before we got into this breakdown. So Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury, who was claimed to fame, it's a British fighter, defeating Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko at the time was on an enormous win streak. Big, obviously 6'7", and Fury 6'9". I think he weighed in today at 257 pounds. So he's a massive heavyweight fighter. But his claim to fame was he defeated Vladimir Klitschko. He made it a very ugly fight, mucked up the waters. He's more of a counter puncher type, kind of likes to fill it out, more of a technician, if you will, from a boxing standpoint. And he frustrates guys. And he's a guy who, on the surface, looks like he's going to present Deontay Wilder a lot of issues. And one of the things that's really interesting about this fight is Fury, after being Klitschko, had a lot of problems, ran into a lot of issues, and didn't fight for 2.5 years. He recently has come back. So those of you who were in the camp of picking Tyson Fury, he did fight a couple tune-up fights before this, so he should be sharper than somebody just coming cold off of a 2.5-year layoff. That wouldn't be good going into the ring with Wilder. But he has fought a couple guys and hopefully has his timing down. With that being said, he is getting into the ring with a guy in my opinion, that he has not faced at all in terms of power, quickness, and really unorthodox, because Deontay Wilder's going to throw punches from angles that Tyson Fury can't imagine. Now, Tyson Fury will present issues to Deontay Wilder because Wilder, you know, with those wide looping punches and Fury being more of a counterpuncher, will definitely present opportunities for him to land big punches and get points. And that's, to me, that's how Fury could potentially win this fight, is on the cards, just like he beat Klitschko. You know, mucking up the waters, landing key shots, not getting hit. And it sounds crazy because he's 6'9", 257, and you would think somebody that size is just a brute knocking people out left and right. And I'm not to say that Fury doesn't have power, but Wilder's definitely, even though Wilder's the much smaller man, I think he only weighed in at 212 or whatever, but even though Wilder is the much smaller man, he's actually the power guy versus Fury, who's more the, you know, traditional boxer. But what Wilder has to do is come in there and make his presence felt. And to me, I think he has the ability to secure a knockdown in this fight. And the reason why I'm saying that is, you know, Tyson Fury, you don't make it to this level without getting tested. And you know, obviously Klitschko was a great, you know, had some good power or whatnot. But Wilder, it's a different kind of power. If you look at his last, and the level of competition Wilder has faced, even though technically he is older than Fury, again, that even with the layoff, and you're going against this type of power, I think that's going to be an issue. And I think he's going to be able to get Fury on the canvas, as big as he is. And the thing is, Wilder's fighting for something more. He's fighting for Anthony Joshua. He's fighting to get that opportunity for that super fight. And look, probably the last boxing video I made on this channel was when they supposedly had booked the fight. I was very disappointed as a fight fan for a myriad of reasons. But now, if they continue down this path and one of them loses, we may never get to see that fight as it should be, with them both being undefeated with their knockout records. I think Joshua was like 21 or 20-0 with 19 knockouts. Wilder's coming into this fight with 40 fights, 39 knockouts, which is, you know, George Foreman territory in terms of efficiency and knocking fighters out when you're in the ring with them. You know, so Fury also is undefeated himself. I think he's 27-0. But I think the power is going to be too much for Tyson Fury, it just blows my mind because he's 257 and the weight. But Wilder has fought big guys before. You know, he's fought some great competition. I think the brother's just determined. I think at this point, you know, he's determined to fight Joshua. He's determined, you know, with the lack of, you know, the lack of buzz, the lack of pay-per-view buzz for this fight. You would think, you know, with the fighting for, you know, the fact that he's been an American heavyweight champion as long as he has, and he's not a household name yet. Let's just be real. He's not even, I don't even think Wilder is as popular as Riddick Bowe was in the 90s. And yeah, a lot of that is attrition to the sport, or attributed to the sport. But with somebody that has the resume that Wilder has, with the knockouts he has, and Wilder's buzz is coming up, but he's not where he should be based upon his look, based upon his resume, and what type of person he is. So this is a very, very big test and moment for him, coming off of other big tests, whether it was Ortiz, Bermain Stiverne, the last, I think he fought him back-to-back. So, you know, Wilder's at a point right now where he doesn't have time either. You know, he's 33 years old. He's trying to establish himself as one of the great all-time heavyweights with his record, and really reestablishing the heavyweight division for American fighters. That's his predominant goal. But you have obstacles in the way, like a Tyson Fury, and hopefully for him, Anthony Joshua following this bout financially, or for all the glory. So I do think just with the layoff that Fury's had, even as technically sound as he is and as good of a counterpuncher as he is, I do think that Wilder's power will present issues for Tyson Fury, and I think Wilder will get the stoppage probably around the 6th or 7th round of this fight, because the other thing I'm going to be paying attention to is Fury's conditioning. I thought Fury had a little issue, had some issues with that against Klitschko if you go back and watch that fight. So very curious to see how he'll look against Wilder. Wilder is a guy, even when he gets conditioning issue, when he gets tired and he gets his hands down, he's just a beast though. He just battles through it, and he has these moments of adrenaline. We saw it notably in the Ortiz fight. So I'm very curious to see how Fury's able to weather that storm, but I'm picking Wilder 6th, 7th round stoppage around there as we continue to have this conversation and move on to one Anthony Joshua. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. I'll try to get a recap up after the fight just with my thoughts, try to break it down, but we definitely want to get some more boxing content here on this channel. Thankful for all of you guys. I'll have it in playlists. So on our Fanatic Perspective homepage, have my football videos, basketball videos, have boxing videos. So for those of you who just follow me for the boxing or for the football, you'll be able to kind of go through there and sort what videos you'd like to view and hear my takes. So I appreciate you guys as always. Thank you.